Live from the shadow of the big house, it's IT4U. Tips and tricks on ITS tools, products, services, and more with your host, Gene Mackey. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to IT4U. I'm your host, Gene Mackey. These are interactive webinars brought to you by ITS. And if you're having audio or video problems during this live part, tell us in the chat pod, and if it's not on our end, we can offer a few troubleshooting tips. When you watch the YouTube caption version of this webinar recording, you can see the YouTube description field for a Google Doc with live links. And those of you who are here live, you'll see a little web links box down the bottom where it says resource links. So if you want to follow along, I created a Google Doc with a bunch of links, and you can click that and then click Browse to. All right. If you do need an accommodation to participate in our IT4U live episodes, just let us know. Hey, the presenter is yours truly, Gene Mackey. We're going to talk about ITS data reporting resources. So here's our agenda. We're going to take a look at there's an ITS webpage that has some University of Michigan reporting resources, various data environments, how to get started. And, you know, if there are particular things that you're hoping to get out of this session, please do let me know in the chat pod. And if I can't answer your question, I can at least figure out how to get you an answer. So we're going to look at data sets. We're going to look at predefined reports, just some basics on creating or editing reports, how to find out how often your data is being refreshed. The data dictionary, you know, we did a whole webinar on the data dictionaries, which I would recommend, and I did put a link to that in the Google Doc. But I want to just talk a little bit about the data dictionaries and how they can help, because they can be a little daunting, but if you have just a little bit of an entry point, that can help. And then, you know, e-learning courses, more recordings, you can take a look at that, the BI webpage. So we're not going to look at that right now. I'm going to share my screen. I guess I'll share my whole desktop. And for starters, I'm just going to take a look at this is the ITS page, and over here I'm going to go to reports, getting started. So the thing about when you think about reporting, so some of you probably enter data into production, right? So down here we look at M pathways. So we've got the financial system, the human resource management system, which is being upgraded at the end of next month, physical resources, and student administration. So every day people are entering data, right? Setting up courses and dealing with HR stuff and tracking their money. And then on a regular basis, that data is transformed and loaded into the data warehouse. All right? And so when you look at getting started with data reporting, there are reports that are created for you, and there's two places that you can get to that. We'll take a look at that. Within Business Objects, which is the tool that's supported by the university. You can also use your own. And in M reports. So what do we got in terms of what kind of data do we have? Data set descriptions. So we've got development, the alumni stuff, e-research, financial, human resources. Let's look down here at student. And so here are the different student data sets. So one of them is recruiting and admissions. So what I want to do is take a look at the data in recruiting and admissions, and then I'm going to bring up a little business objects report, and I want to just show you the connection. So I go to recruiting and admissions. What's it tell me? Well, How often does it get refreshed? How often does ITS have little robots that go in and pull the data out of the production system? Oh, well, it looks like it happens between Sunday and Friday, and if I wanted to look exactly, the specific tables, I could see that. But what I particularly want to point out is the data dictionary. Oops. I didn't want that. Just ignore that. Okay. So I'm here in the Student Recruiting and Admissions Data Dictionary. So what does that show me? I must be leaning in because Mike is adjusting my camera. So I look down here and I see, here's how the data is organized. So there's personal data, there's ethnicity, there's residency. This is when we're trying to recruit students to become part of the university. So as personal data, that's a table, and then the elements are like EMPL ID, right? Because every student has an EMPL ID just like we do. And then it shows how these tables are connected. So if I have an EMPL ID, I've got this table, and then EMPL ID also connects so that in this particular table it'll give information about my ethnicity if I were a student. So I'm showing you the tables, how these things are structured. Then I want to scroll down here to this part. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. Here we go. That'll be better. So it's fairly complicated, right? But when I get down to, here's where it tells me what's in each table, right? So when I'm looking at the names of the table, it tells me exactly what it means, and it gives me a little description. And then it does the same thing for each element. So I'm going to go down here. So if I see something like, I'm trying to create a report in recruiting and admissions, and I see this, like, what the heck does that mean? Well, it's a code. Here's a description over here, and it's even got some examples. All right, so now I'm going to bring up a business objects report, and I want to show you how these two things connect. All right, so business objects. Here I am. Okay, so I'm in business objects, and again, this is not how to use business objects. I don't know if you all use it or not, but I just want to show you how you can create reports that you can use the data dictionaries and use this information. Okay, so I got this cute little report, SAO2, Recruiting Admissions, counts of ever admitted and ever matriculated. So I'm going to bring that up. And yeah, it's just telling me ethnicity. Academic program, it was for LS&A. And so let's say I go to edit here. And my screen goes black. But just for a moment. Everything's good, got run a little Java thing. So I'm going to get into the guts of this report, and I'm going to see how I make sense of it. Okay, and just so you know, business objects is going to get upgraded in the fall. Don't know exactly when, but we'll be sending out information about that. Okay, so I'm in the report, edit query. I'm going to go into the guts of the query. So here's the thing. When I look over here, remember we were looking at those little diagrams and the tables? Well, those correspond directly to what I'm seeing over here under the Data tab. So, and if I hover my mouse here, and I look at admit type desk or short, it tells me where that came from. And if I look at the data dictionary, let's see if I want to do that. Let me just take a minute here. And then if I go over here to the, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so get a little smaller over here. So I was looking at admit, term, desk, or short. So I could actually admit type, admit term. There it is. Admit term, desk, or short. It's character, 10 links. Here's where it shows up, and here's a description. And this is useful because here's examples of valid values. So I would highly recommend, A, that you watch the IT4U that's specifically about the data dictionaries, and that you start, just playing around. So I'm going to get out of this. So, all these things correspond to the data dictionary, and you can find out more. So, up here we've got what I'm going to see as columns in my report, and here are the ways that I'm filtering. So I only want freshmen for admit type, freshman, not somebody who's matriculating. I'm going to get out of this and get out of this, and I just want to also show you some other options, which is so these are reports that I've created myself. Here are public folders. So under maintain, so ITS, in working with central offices, has created various reports that we've kind of put through the test of time, and we have, these are reports that you can generally trust, right? So if I go here under recruiting and admissions, these are reports that I can run, and there's two different levels of access to business objects. So if you have limited access, you can run reports, you can do some formatting. You can't actually get into the guts and modify them. If you have full access, you can. So I could say, oh, this looks like a good report, I want to mess around with it. So I could actually copy it, and I could go to my favorites, and then I could paste it, and then I could open it up, and I could use that as a starting point, so I can find something that's kind of close to what I already got. Now, there is a place where you can find out a little bit more about the maintained reports and what's available to you. But before I do that, I just want to show you one more thing in business objects, which is unit maintained. So you may be working in a department, like let's say you work for the College of Engineering, and that department, we've set them up so that they can maintain their own reports that they want everybody in COE to be using. So, that's worth checking out if you're an LS&A. It's like, there's some LS&A public folders, and in ITS it's all about our time tracking, so like plan view and things like that. So that's worth checking out too. And you yourself, if you came up with a cool report and you wanted to make it available to people, you could actually set up a little folder for yourself under user shared, as I have and many people have. And the thing with that, of course, is to make sure that you purge the data so that somebody can't just get in there and see data they're not supposed to see. But yeah, so you can see people set up folders under their unique names that they wanted to share with others. So think about if you have any questions. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go into M reports. All right, so where am I here? So let's say I want to go to, if I go into Wolverine Access, faculty and staff. So here's how you get into business objects, which you probably know. What's this? The report library. Well, this actually tells me some things about some of the centrally maintained reports that are available. I'd already signed into business objects with my M token, so I can get into here. But like I could share, I could say, what am I interested in? Well, I'm interested in financials and what kind of business project. Unfortunately, it doesn't filter. environment. I'm interested in the data warehouse. So what do we got? So I can actually look in here and it just tells me some of these reports and gives me a little bit of description. And in some cases you can run the reports if you have the right access within MReports. And speaking of access, how do I find out if how do I get access to something? Well, I have to go into the OR system, how to request access. So, and you have this link on the Google Doc, but this is where you would start. You can also just find out who your unit liaison is and what kind of access you need. I guess I want to give a little bit of a pitch while I'm at it to training. So it's tough, you know, because we're all under a lot of pressure to just do our jobs, but the data warehouse stuff, it's not simple. It's really not. So what I want to point out is that first of all, where am I here? I've got a I might just have too many windows open. Maybe I've already got that open. There's a Business Objects Webby Resources page. There we go. Start it. And this is one I've created, and it's a little slow for some reason. Pretty much everything about business objects and the data warehouse, all the links that I could think of, I put on this page. So if you just look up Webby Resources or Business Objects in my link, and I gave you links to that. But let me get out of that. It's just a good idea to spend a little time learning the tool and learning about the data. So if you go into that page, you'll see that there are multiple online courses about business objects as a tool and then about using business objects with specific data. What else do I want to say? As far as, I'm going to get out of business objects right now. As far as other ways to access data and just another resource, the Analytics and Business Intelligence page is actually an interesting place to start. And remember, we were talking about the report library and MReports. So, you know, you can learn more about that. You can learn about, like, here are the different types of, MReports that you can learn about: financial management, like internal controls, student, like admissions. You know, a lot of these are for managers, but a little bit about the MReports quick reference guide. You can also learn Tableau. Like I tried to learn Tableau just to create training. It's not something that you do on the fly, but it's for data visualization, and you can bring in your own data. You can bring in data from the data warehouse. So you know, and also if you just want to start getting more familiar with what's going on, you can join the Google Plus community for Analytics and Business Intelligence at U of M, and that link is right there. And also, this is a group that meets periodically. These days, a lot of it's about Tableau, but since we are upgrading business objects, that's going to be coming up. We'll be doing more about that. I'll probably do a little preview on what's coming up with business objects, maybe in September or something like that. You know, that's mostly what I was going to cover. Are there other things that you all would particularly like to hear about?
Typing. Yeah.
While you're doing that, while you're thinking, I just want to, this is a little course that I created that I'm going to be redoing, but this is the first Business Objects Webby report. It's about running reports, so it's about everybody.
We do have a question or comment. Is there a data dictionary that defines each column by table rather than list what tables contain a specific column? For example, table A shows a list of columns and then each column is defined.
When you go into the data dictionary, there is a link to an Excel spreadsheet, and that tells you how it's all connected, but the basic structure of the data dictionaries is identical for each one. But if you go into that spreadsheet, you may find some aspects that are more interesting, that are more direct what you're asking.
Great. We have someone else typing. We have a comment, more than a question, I think. And presumably, if you can get a spreadsheet, you can pivot from row to column and arrange things as you like.
That's true, because you can download, you can create, the spreadsheet, well, I guess we could take a look at it. The spreadsheet is more just how the tables are connected, because it's for people who aren't using business objects, who are typing in their own SQL programming language from scratch. So I'm not quite sure if that's what you all are looking for. The data dictionaries are in the form of a PDF, so there's limits to what you can do with them. Let me just go over this little course I created. What's a data warehouse? So it's a collection of data to support reporting. It's organized into data sets. It draws from the production environment. It has a refresh schedule, which I gave you a link to that. It's read-only. Why would you use it? You can access centrally meaning predefined reports like we went over. You can use those maintained reports as a starting point. And the thing about the data warehouse is you've got data from multiple years, so you can look at trends. And it's cool because you can combine data from multiple data sets. So, you know, HR and payroll, maybe that's the only way you can really get what you need. So you can do that in using business objects in the data warehouse or your own tool. And what's business objects? It's the suite of tools used to retrieve and analyze reports from the data warehouse. Yeah, and you can export, and actually there's some pretty cool things that you can do. You can schedule reports. I believe I gave you a link to that. So you can schedule reports to run, you know, when you're not there, and kick out a PDF version or Excel version to people's email. So it's a pretty powerful tool. So we've got, I don't know, another 5 minutes. Any other questions, thoughts? While you're thinking about that, I will just say that in my link, again, there's a list of all the webinars that we've ever done back when it started out. When I first started working here at ITS, it wasn't called ITS, and all I did was business objects. So originally it was BOTV, Business Objects TV, and then it became Business Intelligence TV, and now it's IT4U. But we have recordings going all the way back, and you know they're still relevant, and the ones that aren't we're redoing. But the one on the data dictionaries with Jeff Jenkins is particularly useful. So I hope that was a useful introduction, and yeah, I think I will go back and stop sharing my screen.
Yeah. Yes, okay, here's a question. Will the Google community allow us to seek help with a particular report we're trying to create?
Good question, Jason. No, mostly not. The best way to do that is to contact the ITS Service Center for help, and just tell them it's about reporting, and there are people on different teams that are data experts, so your question will get to somebody who actually knows how to help you. The analytics community is more just for sharing thoughts, and when people ask for help, it's mostly these days about Tableau. So yeah, I would go to the Service Center.
Great. Jason says thanks.
Okay, so you'll find this session on the IT4U playlist. You've got the link right there, and it's also in the Google Doc. We'll get that out within a week. And there's the information for the ITS Service Center. And next slide. Thank you for your time, and we're going to go to the polls now. We're going to stop recording.